She call me Luda, bitch, I roll out with my shooters. She wanna fuck me in a Plymouth Barracuda. I got my gun on, yeah, she want for
Hey guys, what's up? It's Prestige from PrestigeBDT.com talking. Here we are with my first anime review. I remind you that we provide anime reviews, motorsport lessons and Formula 1 news, so if you want, check up the website, and if you like the content, subscribe. The anime review of today is Code Geass, one of the most popular and famous anime of the last decade. If you don't know the plot, be aware of spoiler alert. For a very fast refresh, let's get this.
Lelouch, a young outcast prince of Britannia, possesses two great powers. One of them is Geass, the absolute ability to compel any person to do whatever he commands. The other is the Black Knights, his military force assembled with the intent of destroying the Britannian Empire ruled by his father. Veiling his true identity behind a mask and the code name Zero, Lelouch has made his move to avenge his mother's murder and to create a world in which his younger sister Nonali can find happiness. What will be the final outcome of these actions? At this point, no one can predict.
In the contradictory world of Code Geass, the Prince of Invaders, Lelouch Lamperouge, stand up for the Japanese rebels, while the Prince of Japan, Suzaku, is determined in changing the system from inside. The both aims to put the basis for a world of equal rights, stopping Britannia's greed of subordinating humanity. The repeated motive is the well-known, for Nonali's sake. Let's consider Suzaku's side, a path for redemption. We know that he killed his father Genbu to rapidly end the war between Japan and Britannia. That was his selfish desire. In order not to make the sacrifice of his dead vain, he wants to change society and Britannia's structure following the rules, avoiding a hard face-to-face. The approach of temporarily preserving the status quo reflects the character's moral principle that a victory accomplished with evil methods has no value. Suzaku's attitude appears in first place to be spotless and governed by his pure intentions. But his valiant actions are determined predominantly by the need of redemption. It's the cause for Kurugi's tendency to put his own person in danger when the occasion arises. Consider now Lelouch's side, a path for revenge. From the tragic day of Marianne's murdering and the consequences Nonali had to face, Lelouch swore to obliterate Britannia. The instinctive research for revenge is the boost inside the mind of the Emperor's son. The goal of creating a more equal world comes afterwards, when Lelouch has got through his personal growing up process. It's particularly evident in the first season, where he considers the people as mere pawns which are under his direction. His mindset gets struck by the bloodshed in which he accidentally involves Euphemia. It's a turning point. The changed attitude emerges in R2 when, in the shoes of Zero, he tries to save Callan, who was an hostage of Schneizel. You may have that Lelouch and Suzaku are specular characters. You're right. But there's more. They are intimately bonded by faith, events and friendship which will make them converge to the same pier. Lelouch v Britannia, the Black Knight, the one who is ready of getting rid of his name and private life to achieve his goals, no matter what it costs. The one who weaves his plan without concern for other people's feelings. And on the other side, Suzaku Kurugi, the White Knight, Knight of One, who wants the change from within. Euphemia and Rollo's deaths have an impact on Lelouch's plan. He realizes the true shape of happiness. At the same time, Suzaku is approaching the path from the opposite direction. Firing the Fulja, he finds himself in the same situation Lelouch was with Euphemia. They catch up in the middle, the Zero Requiem. Here, the plot sets its greatest retaliation. The black becomes white and the white black. The man who felt guilty and wanted to atone his life with death is forced to live, due to the Geass command. Lelouch, who wanted a gentler world for his sister where to live with, is destined to death. I want, at this stage, to talk about an undervalued topic, the role of Mao. Mao in Code Geass plays the role of an ancillary character, a character that highlights and empowers some particular aspects of the trauma. Mao is not able to stand the power of Geass, which has literally compromised his mental stability. In a very structured way, The ancillary character is also the one who can see others' characters' thoughts and make them explicit. A clear reference is made here to the hidden desire of Suzako. Let's come back to the main question. Lelouch chooses the name Zero for the man who would have been the leader of the Black Knights. It's not a name taken by chance, it's a homen nomen, a speaking name. The choice, in fact, it's explicatory of the acts, the thinking and the morality Zero has to cover. Zero cannot be identified with a single daily person, he is the symbol of hope for Japan and in general for the world. The name of Zero recalls also to the immense sacrifice Lelouch is ready to take. Reducing his personal life, friends, love and feelings to nothing, or better to zero. It's a non-returning point, the one who carries the burden of Zero has to renounce to everything to achieve a superior goal. It's the burden also Suzako has to face when he kills Lelouch. It's not a case that the ultimate plan is referred as Zero Requiem, the Mass for deceased persons. In literature, Zero would be pointed as an allegory. He personifies hope, the seeking of happiness the inhabitants of the world strive to achieve. The mask has also represents the psychological condition of human nature. Taking hints from Italian literature, according to Pirandello, human personality has no single defined shape. In ourselves, different versions of us exist, versions that take over depending on the situation. Therefore a parallel with 100,000 written by Pirandello can be made. Another interesting suggestion is the reference to the Machiavellian principle according to which the ends justifies the means. This concept transpires throughout the entire opera and early becomes Zero's and Lelouch's way of acting. That way of acting that separates him from Suzako. The same ideology that lead to his sacrifice at the end of the anime. Because results are the most important things. No matter if Lelouch is immortal. His fate was to renounce to his personal life. The last words I am gonna spend regard chess. Yes, Code Geass it is a big chess game. The anime gives the spectator the hint that it's all already woven, all is set according to a predefined strategy. The pawns-like approach, makes this anime very similar to Death Note. Do you remember the first episode of R1? Well, all the moves are precisely chosen by the authors. An example? The first move of Lelouch regards the king. Lelouch as Zero, the future leader of Black Knights, exposes first, makes the first move against Britannia, challenging Yeremia Gottwald. And in the end, Lelouch sacrifices the most powerful pawn, himself. The king, to win the game. Another touching point is the way Kira of Death Note and Zero consider the people involved, directly or indirectly, in their plans. In particular, the comparison is more suitable with Lelouch of the first season R1. In fact, both of them treat others like merely pawns at the same level of objects. And also here stands the biggest evolution between the Lelouch of R1 and Lelouch of R2, the second has matured the value of happiness. In both cases, we are dealing with two clever students which live a covered life. Despite the increasing power of Geass, Lelouch, even getting through moments of falling and catharsis, does not betray his morality and his goal. He knew that the sacrifice of people has to be, at least, worth to obtain the aim. He and Suzako are also ready to accept the relative consequences. On the other hand, we highlight that Death Note is more interested in pushing the spectator to inspect what is justice, if it has an absolute of relative meaning. At the end of this review, I want to add some other remarks. Code Geass is a story of a character who's as ready to sacrifice everything to achieve the ultimate goal. Lelouch is not 100% good or evil because of the path of blood he has to get through to complete his plan. But during that process, constituted by fallings and raisings, he maintains the promise made to Suzako, turning lies into reality. Remember, the best way to remove your lies is to make them come true. The final stage requires Lelouch to become the scapegoat of all the evil. For what he has done, Lelouch is aware he cannot be a hero. It's here where he turns into the villain. Talking about Dark Knights, the quote seems to be appropriate: "You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain." The overall grade for Code Geass is 87.25 over 100. If you liked the review, please subscribe and check our website prestigebdt.com for more anime topics.
You start with the king?
Lelouch v. Britannia orders you to answer him.